if you take drugs, you are responsible for all the ills in the world, because most of the ills in the world are generated by drugs. And this is a conversation I had with a friend of mine who called me and she said, David, I know you're doing this new channel thing and stuff. I don't want to be on the video, but I want to tell you my thoughts based on real experience. And she said that if you take drugs recreationally, you're responsible for crime in the Western world. We'll take Britain and America and our cities. They're in a right old state. Knife crime, violent crime, car crime, burglaries, all of this stuff, all of these things, according to her, are generated by drugs. And look at Ecuador. Ecuador is in complete and utter meltdown. It's your fault if you take drugs, according to my friend. And she was a drug user. Not a drug addict, but certainly recreational user, no longer does it. And she says that she works in media, right? So very good reason why she doesn't want to appear on this. But she said the people that she knows who take recreational drugs most weekends spend several hundreds of pounds on cocaine, and cocaine is the big one. And she said if these people stopped using cocaine, then it would bring an end to the drugs trade and all the ills around the world. Now, I see where she's going with this. Think about it for a moment. So Ecuador, the fight between the criminals and the government, it's all about cocaine, it's all about drugs. So if every person in the world stopped doing drugs recreationally, you can sort out the addicts, you can help them, but the recreational users, if they stopped it, then there'll be nothing for the criminals to trade in. I see where she's going. So she thinks we should get really hard with the end users, not the criminals, because, well, yes, I think you should get hard with the criminals, and I'm sure she does as well, really, but we can't, can we? We live in such a soft society. We just can't. We should bang them away immediately. But she reckons, take an end user, if they get caught, even with a small amount, bung them in prison for 2 days, as an example. Explain that to your wife or your husband or your boss or your appointment that you're going to go to, your dental appointment. Bang them away. Bring an end to it. Make it socially not acceptable. Because if you know people like I do that occasionally take recreational drugs, particularly cocaine, they kind of heroize it, don't they? You might be a user, let me know. I'm not. I've never tried cocaine. It would petrify the life out of me that I loved it and I got addicted. So I think I'm quite an addictive kind of person. So I've never tried it. I've done a little bit of cannabis years ago. Arrest me, big deal. But that's it. I've no real experience. But she says, bang them away and make it unacceptable. And I see what she's saying, because the people I speak to can say, oh yeah, I had a wild weekend, did a bit of coke. And it's a bit like they're almost pretending that they're a bit heroic. Do you agree? But it's not really heroic, is it? They don't even know what they're shoving up their nostrils, but never mind that. So what do you think? Yes, fight the criminals, but we've been fighting the criminals and the drug barons and all of that for decades. Nothing is happening. And there's so much money involved and corruption and all of that. But if we as a group of people in the Western world suddenly said it is just not acceptable to do drugs anymore, if you do drugs you're a pariah, then that would eventually bring an end to all the vicious crime that we all have to deal with and worry about in the Western world. What do you think? Over to you.